Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. We have an amazing show for everybody today. What do we have, Krystal?
Indeed, we do. We got some of our favorite panelists, Chuck Rocha, Philip Wegman, Jennifer Holdsworth-Karp, Rachel Bovard. We've also got Oren Cass on today talking about how families are feeling about the American dream. We've got David Sirota on with the latest with regards to Cuomo and why grieving families cannot sue nursing homes for deaths due to Cuomo's decision-making. But first, a story that I have been keeping my eye on. This is actually really significant, very interesting, out of a state I used to call my home, Kentucky. This is from The Intercept, reporting that Mitch McConnell is working on an exit strategy for himself with the Kentucky legislature. So you will recall Kentucky right now has a Democratic governor, Andy Beshear. And the way the law is written right now, if McConnell was to vacate his office, Beshear, the Democrat, would be the one to pick his successor. So what this law would do was it would instead put that successor plan into the hands of the GOP so that McConnell could essentially pick who he wanted to succeed him. According to this reporting is from Nick Storm, a great reporter that I knew well in Kentucky, again, partnered up with The Intercept. According to him, a list has already been drafted, Sagar, of McConnell's potential successors. Daniel Cameron, who's the current AG, is at the top of this list, so much so that this bill in the Kentucky General Assembly is being called the Daniel Cameron Election Bill. But, you know, there have been a lot of really serious concerns about McConnell's health. You'll recall there was that photo that came out where his hands looked horrific. He's had health troubles in the past. He's an old man.
He's 79 years old. I just looked it up.
So it's led to a lot of speculation about the status of his health, frankly, and whether he thinks he's going to serve out his entire term.
Look, it's not a conspiracy theory. He's 79 years old. He has had health problems for many years. I believe he had polio as a child, and so that's always left a lasting impact on him. And the fact that they are moving ahead with this goes to show something you always highlighted me to, which is that he runs that state. Like the GOP machine, he is not popular. Like he's not a popular politician. Trump outran him by, I don't even know how much, in his own home state. But he controls the machinery of GOP politics. The fact that he's setting up Daniel Cameron, he very much knows who he needs to be his successor and how he's running the political machine there in terms of getting the legislator to do that. It very much shows his eye on the ball. McConnell's lasting legacy is he has always understood partisan machinery, and he's been a master at using that. Not necessarily to the best ends, but the way that he sees himself is as somebody who is a master of these types of politics. And look, he's probably going to pull it off, right? So there we go.
So look, he had dismissed those concerns over his hands and the bruising that you saw there when that appeared back in October of 2020. But this has certainly sparked a lot of speculation. And I think it also, you know, you and I have been kind of scratching our heads about some of the moves that he's been making recently. This is a man I think lots of things about, but he is not a stupid man. He understands power. As you were alluding to, he built the Republican Party in the state of Kentucky. Now it's easy to see Kentucky as like a red state. That's a really recent development. Just a couple decades back, there was basically not a Republican Party in the state. Democrats controlled absolutely everything. It was just in recent cycles that Republicans were able to take the General Assembly there and take control of the state. They still, again, elected a Democrat as governor of the state, so you can see that they have that legacy there. But yeah, some of his moves recently have been kind of head-scratching. It's like, okay, you're going to come out and leak all these things about how Trump is terrible, but you're not going to actually organize to do anything about it.
And then he said he would vote for him.
And then ultimately, he votes along with Trump against convicting Trump in the Senate, doesn't organize any votes to try to remove Trump from office. He gets asked, would you vote for him? Yes, he will. So it's been kind of like a strange set of circumstances here and strange sets of moves from McConnell. I don't know if he's not thinking that he's going to run again, if he's thinking that, you know, he may not even serve out his entire term. It starts to make a little bit more sense that he's thinking a little bit less tactically and strategically at this point than he normally would.
Yeah, it does make sense, especially whenever you're looking at that. And I also see this in terms of the moves he's making. Like on the economic policy front, Amy comes out and he says $1,400 checks might discourage people from working. I mean, he's still wholly committed to that ideology, hasn't bumped or moved on it one single iota. He's organizing the Senate in order to move very much in that direction, organizing the GOP opposition. So the fact that he refuses to move, even in ways that some members of his caucus want him to, also tells me that he's very intransigent in terms of what he's got.
Who would be the next leader of the Republican Party? Is it Thune? Or?
Probably John Thune. or John Cornyn. John Cornyn wants it bad. He's been there for a long time. He also just got reelected down in Texas. So he'd have a pretty good shot. I think Cornyn would be somebody very likely. I think he's the number 3. Thune is the number 2. There are others within the caucus, but Cornyn is young enough where he could still be leader for a long time. And he's a natural heir alongside Thune. Both true cons, just to be clear.
Standard issue Chamber of Commerce Republicans,
Yeah,
all of them.
That's right.
All right, more Rising for you after this.